Hello, everybody. This is State of the Galaxy, episode 15. We are one day after the Anaheim Cantina Tour, and we got a few things to say about it. So the long and short of it is, they didn't tell us anything new. Is that fair? I think we learned. Okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Yes, we did learn something new. We learned what form the new 12x XP is going to take, and we learned about the Yavin stronghold. Here's the counter to that. We already knew there was a stronghold coming, and we already knew 12x was coming back.
I mean, look, I'm gonna give them more credit than none on the 12 XP because it being a sub perk is pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie, that's better than it could have been done. I think we all know that. Stronghold. Look, strongholds are better than I thought they were going to be before. I've said that multiple times, but I don't know if that's something. If another stronghold is something for me to get hype about, I don't know if another stronghold is a justification for us to be excited for our cantina to be streamed by ESL.
Well, I can just tell you right now that no, it's not worthy of. It's not worthy of being the only news of note. Because besides that, it was basically a repeat of the last stream that they did when they were previewing 3.2 in Austin.
So here's the interesting thing to me. I understand the idea behind BioWare wanting to get SWTOR out to people that don't already play. I get that, and I understand it, and I'm willing to not bitch about everything in terms of not everything is made for the people that play this game extensively. I understand that in marketing materials and other things. However, the Cantina event, as they multiple times reference, is for the players that already play this game. The people that go to the Cantina event, I guarantee you, are checked into the game enough to know what's on the PTS. They may not go on it, but they at least know what's coming. The people that go to Cantina events are the people who go and look up data mined information. They're the people that have Dev Tracker followed on Twitter. They're the kind of people that literally show up in cosplay. These people already knew about Ziost. They already knew about literally every single thing that was announced except for the new Stronghold. And if you noticed, the excitement and applause after the Yavin Stronghold was tepid at best. And it's just if you know that cantinas are for the players, why did it feel like that entire cantina was not for the players, but for people who don't play the game?
Well, the excitement for the Yavin thing was tepid, but people were clapping their friggin' hands off about the dumb Emperor thing. They were seriously excited about 3.2, it sounded like to me. The applause was at least better for that.
Excited about the story? No. Excited the story, yes, absolutely. But
But
No, I don't mean me. I'm saying that is something that I can understand excitement about, right? I'm just saying that them announcing what we're getting in 3.2 when there's already been streams that say what we're getting in 3.2, it just seems unnecessarily repetitive. This isn't an election cycle where the candidate goes to every city and gives the same speech. That's not what this is. This is a fucking video game. The cantina, they've said that they were going to try and have things announced at the cantina, to make it to where cantinas have more value than just that the players are enjoying the community. And it's just I feel like that sort of...
They followed the bare minimum, the letter of that pledge.
Yeah. Following the letter, if not the spirit, is not something that excites me.
No, and it shouldn't be.
And I just... everything about that, in some way, just so let me I don't really care about a format right now. Let's go down a quick list of ways that they found to let people down. So in the Q&A section, we didn't get PvP questions, but let me tell you what you did get. When are we going to get a hutball practice field in a stronghold or something to that effect.
I can answer that. Never.
Yeah, because when people say they didn't ask PvP questions, Musk will be like, "Whoa, we answered a question about a hotball stronghold." PvE, it's like we answered a question about the fact that we understand that people have been bitching about melee for the entire tier, and we're going to tell you that, hey, our QA team is they're finally gonna start killing things with all melee, and to me,
well, whatever. If you bring any power techs, you're not bringing melee.
Well, yeah. Well, no. Beyond that, how the hell did it take you this long to realize that maybe you should make sure you can check if all melee can kill it? Like, because all ranged can kill everything, and for the long, vast history of this game. So, you're telling me you never had QA team say, let me try this out? Never? Not once? Not one time? Like, that was the thing you didn't think about until 3 years into the game?
Do they actually have 8 people in QA who have nothing better to do than run an operation? I doubt that.
I doubt that as well. Like, from all of the... I'm not saying that they don't have enough QA people that come in to do it occasionally, but I doubt that they have 8 QA people on staff capable of playing at the level required to go and properly QA test something like that. So I don't even know what that means, really. Like, what, you're gonna bring 8 people in twice in 3 months and have them try it? Because, that's okay, I guess. I don't know. Just the whole thing, everything about it, I was just like, wow. You're just gonna let everyone down. You're not gonna let the PvPers down, only them. No, you're gonna let the PvEers down too. For the story people, this is what's kind of worrisome, right? It's still not clear if what we're going to get is any different than a Forged Alliance's storyline. There's still an amazing chance that the story we get is going to be flashpoints delivered. And if that's the case, that's still not enough. And Zyos, okay, yeah, cool, awesome. That's going to be nice for 5 minutes, and then it's going to be done, because there's... I've been on the PTS, it ain't that big.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Ziost is a leveling planet wherein you don't level. And once you're done with it, you're done with it. I'm guessing there's dailies on there. I have not been on it because I could not have been less hyped. It's not content that's for me. I will experience it when it goes live, I'm sure, but I'm not going to experience it more than once per character. I'm probably not even going to do it on all my characters. Unless I have to.
Yeah, and it's just... The question about the Zyos boss, where they're like, we don't want to spoil anything. You can say that it exists, right? There have been pictures, there have been videos.
No.
You can say that it exists,
listen.
Not only that, he doesn't want to spoil whether or not it goes live in 3.2. What? This is where, from what I could tell in Twitch chat and just talking to as many guilds as possible, this cantina was basically a make or break. Is there a reason for me to stay sub during the summer moment? And we were literally told, I don't want to troll, or I don't want to give this away, so you're just going to have to wait and find out. And we're like, well, fuck you. We're all just going to unsub. What? I'm not going to keep playing this game because maybe we get a fucking Zyos boss that, by the way, is going to have no longevity.
Well, yes, it will have no longevity because it's not a real boss. It's not a real raid. It's got one boss in it. And then there's a world boss who will give a shit about.
If they try and fucking split hairs and say that the Zyos boss counts as we get more than
I'm sure that they're not so
year.
Intellectually dishonest as to even attempt that. I think they know how that would go over.
I feel like they could do it, though. I really do. I would not put it past them at all. I could see them putting out the new raid in December or something, and then being like, "Hey, we kept our promise, though. You got the monolith boss."
Do you think they knew that the announcement was as important for people?
Well,
yes.
It is their job to know that.
Yes.
You'd think they would, but it seemed like they totally know that it was as many people were listening and hoping.
So here's the funny thing. I'm gonna give them enough credit because they hired somebody whose work background is specifically to be able to parse through information like this from the community and give it to the people that matter. No, that's what the guy was hired for. And if he couldn't like find it abundantly clear that like this cantina was going to be something important, then I mean that's their problem. Like everybody's been loud and clear.
Yes.
And to be clear, I'm not sitting here saying BioWare needed to announce a new raid, and then like I would have been happy as they fucked the PvPers over.
We would have been happier.
Well, no. But that's not what I'm saying. No. But what I'm saying is that's not what I was expecting. I'm not like I don't have some unrealistic expectation where I'm saying, you know, they announced the new raid. Like I'm saying it is hilariously dumb to me that they wouldn't even just and it doesn't even have to be an official announcement during the cantina. They could have like because like the beforehand, like just the chatting and shit, they could have been like, yeah, Nightmare's coming. Like I haven't seen any Reddit posts about like from like Gaddock Teague or some crap where it's like, oh, I talked to so and so, Nightmare 3.3. Like I just like.
Well,
this
we have
is this shit's been out for. Well, hold on. This shit's been out for 5 months. Like we're like, remember the Shadow of Revan press event where they said that DF and DP being the only raid for a year was not good. It was unfortunate. It shouldn't happen again. How the content cycle
if it was
stretched
an anomaly,
out,
and they said yes.
Yeah, it's this is a pattern, not an anomaly. Like,
well, it hasn't been a year yet.
This schedule. No. You don't understand though. Here's the thing. If they do Nightmare, we're not. The reason I say we're not getting in 3.3 is they would have said literally anything at all, right? So I'm just assuming we're not going to get in 3.3 because like.
Well, I bet we
here's
are.
the reason. No.
But they just won't say it for no reason. Like I don't understand why they wouldn't say it, but I think we're getting it in 3.3.
There's the picture, guys.
Like the reason I don't think it's going to be in 3.3 is. Like, we need to be... if it was going to be in 3.3, they would need to let us know we're going to need to test it by now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we should be testing it right now, and we're not. That's why I don't think it's... I just don't think it's going to be there. So, like, I have to assume that we get it at the earliest 3.4, or we don't get it. I don't know. I don't see them not doing Nightmare, mainly because it's... technically it's easier for them from a development standpoint to actually just do Nightmare. Like it's less work for them, and they get to draw out the content more. But it's just like, since that's not announced, so we don't know if that's even happening or when it's happening or whatever, because they didn't make an official announcement or anything else. We know that it's being nerfed. Like it's being nerfed in 3.2. It's happening. Yes. Like the instances are being nerfed.
It should have been.
And we're not getting.
Ago.
Yeah, but like so we're getting.
Well, I say it should have been ages ago. I guess not if you've got nothing else coming down the pipe.
Yeah, but like so we're getting the nerf in 3.2. We're not going to get Nightmare anytime soon. Who knows if we will? And no hints of anything about a new raid. And again, I'm not saying that like they should be saying, "Oh, we need to get a new raid and Nightmare ASAP." I mean, like it's one or in my head, one or the other would have been fine. Neither is just like more worrisome than before, because my expectations were not hopeful. They were not optimistic. They were not like pie in the sky. They were literally just, I'm expecting this to be just a hair better than the DFDP timeline, and at this moment, I'm thinking it's going to be as bad or worse. And there's nothing to tell me otherwise. I can't put on a fucking like magic hat and hope for the best. Like this is just trash. And like, yeah, it's just garbage.
I want to go back to something you were talking about earlier about spoilers. If that's the reason they don't say things, that's really fucking dumb.
Yes.
There are ways to talk about things without spoiling them. Like, you don't have to tell me, say there's a new raid and it's got a lot of story in it. You don't have to tell me who it involves. You don't have to tell me where it even is. You just have to tell me that it exists and a rough timeline, like give me a month of when you want to put it out.
Yeah. Let me give a nice spoiler alert. The Zyos boss, there's nothing about it where you doing it spoils anything story related for you.
Of course
it's
not.
a one-off boss. There's nothing
Golden
interesting
Fury.
about it. Yeah, I mean, is it more fun than Golden Fury? Like, kind of. There's something interesting about it.
Golden Fury was interesting at the time.
There's not this great like story implication for it. There's nothing about it where I'm like, oh my god, if I would have known this before they announced it. Like, no, it's a big old fucking creature using the same basic like structure as a Rancor with a different fucking color scheme. And
so it's not
slightly
Golden Fury,
different
it's
appendages.
The eyeless.
Yeah.
Does he at least have a sweet, sweet ass?
He doesn't have a sweet, sweet ass.
Well, then there's no reason for me to do it.
I mean, it's all dependent on the loot table, what they do for it, if someone even wants to run it more than once. But I don't see I don't know. Like, it's not, let me put it this way, it's not anything that people who raid consistently are going to get anything out of.
Of course not.
So it's just like, it's whatever. Like, I mean, the casuals are going to like it. They're going to enjoy it. It's going to.
I know.
It's going to have
That's
the monolith. So here's what I think about the monolith boss. The monolith boss is a boss that fits in line with the kind of ops bosses that we got before content was hard. So like, the casuals are going to be just fine. They're going to be happy. But
there should be bosses for people like that. However,
I agree. No, I agree.
However,
but like,
that's what story mode's for.
No, but the hard mode version isn't hard either. Like, it's harder than nothing, but...
So,
I don't know.
A few things. I'm just gonna read from my notes from the stream. Really, a Zyos trailer? I mean, I guess it's good that they made one, because I haven't seen one before, by the way.
I liked the Zyos trailer. I'm not gonna hate on the Zyos trailer.
I'm not gonna hate on it either, but that they led with it was a really bad sign. And
that trailer should have been...
That trailer should have come out like 2 weeks ago.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, that's what I was going to say.
That
trailer should have come out before PTS even came up.
And I didn't have time to read every single thing that was up when they were talking about how much people like Shadow of Revan, but everything that I did read was directly or tangentially related to the story.
I think one of the biggest worrying... Like, okay, from a standpoint of people do enjoy the story in this game, people will be happy from that standpoint. Because it seems like...
But for how long will they be happy?
No,
That's my problem.
Here's the second part. The problem is, it seems like we're eschewing all gameplay for that.
Well, it doesn't seem that way. You pretty much are.
No. It does seem that way, because we're not talking like...
No. I'm agreeing. We are just doing that. It's not seem.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Yeah, and it's just like, gameplay, what gameplay? Like, that's not what we're getting. And it makes me... so this is what it makes me think. It makes me think they've decided where they're going to go. They've decided what they're going to support. I'll accept that. Well, I'm past the point of trying... This is what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to try and, like, pick it and, like, run a campaign to get us better things. Like, we've already tried that, and PvPers have already tried that and failed miserably. Like, all of us, like, we're not going to get what we want. Like, they tried to give us what we wanted for 3.0, but they did it in a way that was, like, hamstrung. So, like, they tried, but since it failed, in some ways because of the community, and in other ways because of their just absolute missteps, they are basically taking that to say, all right, we tried that, it just didn't work, so we're just going to go the ultra-casual route. And that's fine. As a game, that'll make them money, but, like, there's no reason to play this game if you're into gameplay.
They're only going the ultra-casual route in as much as how they make their money. You know what they're doing now? You know what this design philosophy that they have about focusing so much on the story, what that says to me? What it says to me is that they're just done making an MMO. It's not an MMO anymore. Because you're getting everything done in leveling planets wherein you don't level, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I don't disagree with that. Like,
what is my incentive as an ultra casual to buy stuff from your cartel market when there's no incentive for me to group up with other people and do content that's gated behind having to pay in some way or another. Because there's not enough of that content, and players like you and me are getting sick of it. So, I mean, there's no reasonable expectation that players like that will be able to find a group, even if they do want to do that.
So, the only thing I think that keeps people playing a game like this in the circumstances that appears they're shifting towards would be the community, right? Like the guilds, the people you play with. The problem is that can't sustain itself when the content you make for those people do not require them to interact with their guildmates.
Yeah.
Doesn't create any incentive. And like the more that that's a reality, the more that it's going to be pointless to play this as an MMO. And it's just like there's not going to be a reason to play it. Like, I'm going to be honest, a lot of the people that play this game only because of Star Wars, I'm not saying it's going to be some Messiah game, but a lot of the people that play this game only for Star Wars, I can see them playing Battlefront and then just being like, oh, maybe I don't need to play this free-to-play game that doesn't give me that much to begin with.
Well, you won't be getting any of that story fix from Battlefront, but...
No, you won't. You'll just be getting like enjoyable gameplay, and you'll be getting a hyper-realistic version of Endor, which is kind of like, who cares about the story?
You also, like, you don't have to pay BioWare to get that story. I mean, you don't have to pay them very often anyway. All you have to do is, like, buy Shadow of Revan, and then free-to-play your way up to 60
and Battlefront, they're giving that whole Battle of Jakku thing, like, for free. Straight up free DLC, like, pretty much... like right before and right after the movie comes out, depending on if you pre-ordered or not.
Let's see. The secret on the image was decoded. It just looks like some concept art with unfamiliar looking ships, but we know nothing about it, so it's impossible to comment intelligently on it. All we know is #Fallen Empire from somebody's wristband, and the date June 15th.
And I'm gonna be honest, and I'm not even like I care about the story. I read the EU books, or the Legends books as they're now called. I don't have any interest in speculating what that is, because at the end of the day, to me, since I know it's not going to be, and when I say I know, I just mean like they're giving no one anything else to go off of. It's just going to be Ziost is going to be the start of it, and then it's going to be a bunch of flashpoints, so it's basically just fucking forged alliances. And if you think we needed motherfucking wristbands and a secret picture in a PNG file, then you're doing your viral marketing incorrectly. Like, nobody needs to hype up like a Forged Alliances 2.0. It's not that great. Like,
if you want to tell us something, just fucking tell us. Tell us something. What is coming? Because we don't know anything. We know nothing. I don't know. That they talked so much about 3.2 in this Cantina event was a massive, massive, massive mistake, in my opinion.
I agree. Okay. If I'm going to assume that they actually want cantinas to matter and people to enjoy them beyond just the people that are there, aka streamed or whatever, in my opinion, this is what they need to do.
Oh no, they do matter if you're there. I would have.
No, I said outside of if you're there.
Oh,
like if since they want that to happen, this is what they need to do, and it's very simple, and it doesn't require them to massively change anything. It's just your Cantina event needs to cover the basics of what we're going to get or what we're working towards getting in the game up until the next Cantina event. Simple as that.
Yeah.
No,
that's it. That's all BioWare has to do. That's all they have to do is give us the equivalent of a basic roadmap from the day of that Cantina event until the rough couple weeks up into the next Cantina event. That's it. That's not that special. That doesn't go that far out into like the content cycle. They don't have to go so far out that they could like fuck over and be like, oh my god, this thing's broken, we can't give this to them now, we have to cancel it, we're so sorry. It's literally just like, if we're going into 3.2 and we have a Cantina event like we just had, that Cantina event should have been about 3.3. Period.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Like, to me, like, that should have been obvious. The fact that that wasn't obvious tells me that they still do not know how to communicate with this fucking community.
No, TC Thief, I do not like how Musco stole my State of the Galaxy again. That's actually, like, once is... Alright, you fucked up. You're not in touch enough with your community to know that this name has been taken. 2 is like, hey, what the hell?
It's I think it's just, I don't really care. I think it's just kind of funny that they just don't they don't pay attention to anything, because it's like, it's not even like pay attention to us. We have a couple people that watch on Twitch or some shit. It's more like you just don't pay attention in general.
Well, would I be... I'd be okay with him using the name if he gave me a direct shout-out. How about that?
I mean, I don't think... Here's the thing. I don't actually think it's that big of a deal. I just think it's stupid.
Well, no, it's not a big deal. But it's kind of annoying. When I say it's
stupid, I mean, like, it would be funnier to me, like, or I guess make more sense if Musco gave you, like, a troll face via a Twitter response or something. Like, I stole your name. Like, that would have been funnier. But it's just kind of goofy now. I mean, it doesn't. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Like,
let's also talk about some other...
Musco stole our show name for a game that he is contributing to the death of. I feel really bad about it as I stop renewing my subscription.
To the death of it.
I mean, his inability to communicate with the community is one of the negative aspects of this game, and how people perceive it. I don't think anyone could argue that.
Let's talk about those plaques. I think the only reason you got them is because the speedrun tournament fell down. I think they were supposed to be for the speedrun tournament.
I don't know, but I don't care either. Like,
this is not disprovable. But
well, no. I'm not going to argue it. I'm not going to argue it. I still think it's a nice gesture, and like, I've seen nice pictures of the plaque. It looks good, so I'm happy. I mean,
it would have been a nicer gesture if we knew we were competing for that.
That's the thing. Like, it's so this is like my other thing. It's like, because people. I'm not going to sit here and like bitch just to bitch, right? I remember a lot of progression people said that they were annoyed that BioWare basically doesn't acknowledge the existence of progression in the first place. So that's something that the community in general has complained about, right? And I've seen complaints from just about every progression guild. Yes. So them giving some sort of recognition
to that extent, and it's nice to get acknowledgement that this kind of thing happens.
Yes, but this is the thing that they should have done. I'm not saying that they didn't do enough for Zors. They did exactly enough for Zors. I'm sure, like, everyone's very like pleased that thing happened. It should have been noted, hey, this is something we want to do, like, for each tier. This is what you get when you win.
I would be fucking surprised if this wasn't a one-time thing.
I know. I bet it is a one-time thing. What I'm saying is, I can't just shit on them for like everything. I'm gonna give them credit for acknowledging something that we have complained about them not acknowledging for over like 2 years. I'm just saying that if they wanted to do it right, they should have followed that up with, by the way, this is the kind of thing you can expect. Like, not specifically a plaque, but you can expect official recognition on like world first for each tier. That would be nice. I'm not like, that would create, like, people would feel a reason to be more competitive, and like, they would feel, I guess the PvE community, like, this doesn't sound super positive, they would feel at some level placated. Like, but
a non-zero amount of acknowledgement is always good.
Yeah. So I'm going to give them credit, and I'm not going to be a fucking negative Nancy about the fact that they did something. They did something, and it was a nice something. And it was more than I thought that they were going to do, because I didn't expect them to actually do anything. So, props to them. And the people that are getting the plaques from that first kill, they're all happy. So, that's great. But at the same time, the cynical part of me, outside of the obvious, which is that like that feels like a one-off thing, like you said, it's with no Nightmare announcement and like no new raid, even like in whispers or in like secret red phone conversations like between lizard men. It's it almost feels like that plaque's like a please don't quit the game, don't unsub just
no.
yet.
I think okay. So when I think conspiratorially, I was thinking, are they trying to co-opt Zors to like placate them and get them to feel okay, so that they don't start quitting and start making noise in the community, spreading their influence, like I'm doing right now?
Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing: Zors is taking a break. Like that was already going to be the plan. Like,
if we learn nothing, yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah,
I've heard that
like
from not just Zors.
No, of course. Like we're gonna take a break for a couple weeks. This Cantina event, like because we didn't hear any official announcements about anything, it'll probably end up being longer than a couple weeks. Like we were happy for our guildies that got recognition. We were happy that BioWare was nice enough to give plaques for something that happened 5.5 months ago or some shit. But
well,
I mean,
okay.
it's not gonna.
It's
like,
really tinfoil hat of me to think of it as a placating gesture, but as a placating gesture, it would not fucking work.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. Like, because it's going to be one of those things that's like, wow. If anything, it just makes us feel slightly awkward that we're going to take a break from the game. It's not stopping us from taking said break.
I think that's the social pressure. If they meant it that way, and I doubt they did, that would be the social pressure they're using.
Yeah. Also, in the Twitch chat, I'm going to pronounce it Zordy, and that's probably wrong. World First Clear should earn you one question in the unfiltered list. I bet Zors would love to find out about Wookiee costume. See, here's the funny thing. We had 5 people from the guild at the Cantina. Sorvali was there, Smugglin was there, Flight was there, Shulk, and Fascinate. Every single one of them asked a question basically saying, when is Nightmare or New Race? Some basic question like that. Like everyone that I'm aware of that like cares about PvE asked a question about PvE. I also know that questions were written down on postcards about PvP, specifically about ranked or even regs or even Q-pop, from people that were in like other guilds that I associate with or like have friends in. None of those questions were asked. Like it was that the Q&A session was trash, and the fact that they were all written down like just made it even worse, because it's like we're going to do the Q&A a little different this time. Instead of raising our hands and answering, you know, are we going to get Wookiees 5 times by 4 different people with neckbeards and a 52-year-old mother? Instead, we're going to write down the questions and only answer the Wookiee question once and not answer any other questions of any merit. Like,
it was painfully filtered.
Yes. My note for QA is literally who cares. Quote, will purebloods get more hair options? Unquote. All capitals, Jesus.
Like, here's the real fucking talk. Almost all of those questions were invariably, when will the cartel market get this? And look, I respect that. BioWare, get your fucking money, boo-boo. But that doesn't need to be a fucking Cantina question. Like, we had one question pertaining to gameplay in the entire Q&A. One.
Yes, and it was also very vague, and the answer was like a pledge, and it's. I mean, I don't disbelieve him. I'm just a little skeptical.
I basically heard 2 references to gameplay the entire night.
The melee thing.
One of the references to. Well, no.
That's
but I'm talking about just in general. No, I mean like specific gameplay, like phrases. I've heard 2 things relating to gameplay. Melee viability was one, and Sorvali using the word hydraulics for the like couple minutes that they were up there was the other. Like, otherwise, and the entire canteen was like, we're just not gonna talk about gameplay. Like we're not gonna talk about it. We're not going to talk about any content that actually involves gameplay.
They fucking should, because this is not a dress-up game.
Yeah.
There is a combat system in this game, and it takes a pretty prominent role.
Question, and this is only half tinfoil hat of me. Do you think the whole awarding situation is basically them signaling that this tier is over and that it may just end with hard mode?
I mean,
since hard mode was equivalent of,
I think they would
who have killed hard Revan, like pre-nerf was basically the same that killed Council pre-nerf.
At a relevant pace, hard mode was cleared less than Nightmare. Like at a month-per-month thing. Like, only now are we starting to see, honest to God, nightmare clearance rates for hard mode Revan. Like, only now. Like, we're starting to see a number of kills that are happening. I know the most recent one, Ninja Looters, got a kill, which, honestly, for a first kill, they only had 4 bounty hunters, so it was actually kind of fun to see. But, like, fun only from a sort of novelty standpoint. But, I mean, it's just... I feel like I'm giving BioWare too much credit. If I believe that, Lox, like, I can't picture BioWare or Musco, for that matter, having enough, like, just... I can't picture them having enough boys in the pocket to do something like that.
You think they're blowing a dog whistle, and I don't think they are.
No, I don't think so either.
I mean, the tinfoil hat position is they're blowing a dog whistle, but I don't think they are.
I think... honestly, I think the Zors thing was... Realistically, I think it was less about Zors and less about PvE progression than it was about this is a way for BioWare to highlight that they care about the community, and here's an example of the community. Like, that's what that felt like. And it's harder for them to, with a straight face, talk about how difficult it is to win every conquest planet. They can't exactly talk about PvP because, like, if they, like, a lot of the best PvPers don't like the game. Like, they just angrily play the game and they unsub every other month. And I'm not making fun of them. I'm being honest. Like,
that's something you should just make fun of, because there's lots.
Well, no. I'm saying, like, people like
things.
the people they could have brought on, like, on the PvP end, because I could name people that could. A lot of them have, like, been spending the last month and a half taking turns unsubbing, deleting characters, or just, like, shitting on the devs in public situations, like, really explicitly. So it's like it would be harder for them to choose someone, like, from that section of the game. So it's like this was kind of the only, like, side of the game where they could, like, show recognition and show they care about the community. Like, what are you gonna do? Be like, oh man, there's this member of the guild, happy silly fun time. He's a level 45, and let me tell you, he just got past Belsalvis. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, that's the problem. Like, they want to show recognition and show they care, but, like, the way that they make this game, there are only so many things they can show recognition for.
You know what? Alright, Dill Pickles, you're a cool guy. They did not take a giant shit on PvP when they took out 8v8s. They just fucking didn't.
Nobody played 8v8s.
Nobody fucking played it. It was the least popular max level feature they ever released. That includes GSF, that includes Nightmare. Both of those shit on 8v8s. It was basically 2 to 3 groups per server. Nobody played it.
And at the time, heavy populated PvP servers would have 4 teams, and one of the teams would quit after one game of getting farmed.
Yep. I can't let something like that go because it's my fucking show. Okay, some more notes from the Q&A section. Quote, "You'd be surprised how much we read the forums. I don't remember off the top of my head who said this. I think it was Bacchus, who's a cool guy, by the way. You should, if you ever get a chance to meet him at a Cantina Tour, you should definitely talk to him. But my commentary on that quote is, that's not a good thing. We should know, we in the community should know that you're in touch with us."
Isn't it like some people's entire jobs to read the forums? Why would we be surprised if they read the forums?
Yeah, that's my point. Why should we be surprised how much you read the forums? We should know. They also seem surprised that Legacy 50 was so well represented at the event. I mean, Justin, you saw Musco's face when everybody cheered that they were Legacy 50. Legacy 50 is trivial.
That was fucking dumb. Legacy level 50 is literally just level a couple characters and you hit Legacy level 50. I hit Legacy level 50 by the time I leveled my 3rd character, and at the time I did not do progression PvE. I had done like a couple story modes. Like, also, I am okay. So I don't believe for a second that he's actually that surprised. That was like the worst acting ever. Musco with that whole like taken aback, slack-jawed routine.
Maybe he was.
Like,
Maybe he was surprised.
I don't know. Watch it again. It's bad acting.
I don't want to watch
that's
it.
Like that's like some MTV reality show acting. Like that's like some Snooki JWoww acting. There was no skill in that. Like I didn't buy that for a second. Like that. Like I told you earlier, that was like the equivalent of a parent trying to act surprised or impressed when their kid draws like a stick figure. It's like, oh my god, you're amazing.
But I mean,
you're Picasso.
He really overstated how much time it takes to hit 50 legacy. Like,
especially if you're getting anything out of it. What do you get out of it?
An average casual MMO player will hit it in not much time. Yeah, I don't know if he said, quote, that takes a lot of hard work, but, yeah,
I mean,
it really
he reacted... Doesn't. Like, well, no, see, this is another thing where it's like, I just, like, Musco, like, who are you? Like, you have that many people at a cantina, and again, we already talked about how usually it's, like, the fucking diehards and the people that played too much of this game that go to these cantina events. If you're surprised that they are Legacy level 50, then, like, you need to pay more attention to the community. Like, what? Like...
No, you know what I bet it is?
There are people at that event that were dressed up in very elaborate costumes based on SWTOR characters. I promise you they're Legacy level 50.
Here's my theory.
I promise you those people are Legacy level 50. Like,
and this plays into something you said earlier. My theory on this is their impression of people being Legacy 50 is their metrics, right? And that includes people who start playing, get to the story, and quit. It doesn't include people who play this game as the MMO it ostensibly is. People who play this game as an MMO will be 50. And people who go to the Cantina event are much more likely to be 50 than they are to be, like, 10.
Yeah, like I said, I hit Legacy level 50 when I hit my third level 55 tune, and I had less than 10,000 achievement points at the time. Maybe like 8,000 or something. Like, it's incredibly easy to get Legacy level 50, and like I'm a terrible leveler and I'm horrible at achievements. Like,
and Hackham,
there's nothing difficult about it.
Hackham, the reason we're talking about this is because it was brought up last night at the Cantina event, because they seemed very surprised that Legacy 50 was so highly represented at the event. I think the question came up in Q&A. Alright, so from a hardcore player perspective, it was hard to take this event and this stream as anything other than evidence that my concerns do not warrant enough developer attention to retain me as a player.
Pretty much. I mean, and again, to the people mainly to Dill Pickles, talking about how great 8 Ranked 8s is, I'm not sitting here saying that PvPers should still be happy about Star Wars. I'm not sitting here saying that, like PvPers don't have something to be mad about. I'm saying that, like, Ranked 8s isn't the thing you want to, like, that's not the thing you die over. That's not the thing that you go to war over. Ranked 8s is so insignificant in the grand scheme. Like, the thing to be pissed about is that they don't give a shit about PvP balancing. They don't give a shit about whether or not you get, like, any sort of realistic elo. They don't give a shit about giving you more queues. They don't give a shit about more competition. And they also don't give a shit about your rewards. Like, if you want to be pissed, be pissed about... Those are the things... more than Ranked 8s. I'm saying they're more valid than you care about.
You're identifying the wrong root cause. The root cause is population. More people, when they hit next level, need to be retained.
Instead of just going and leveling another character all the time.
That would help queues. That would help elo. That would help basically, I don't know, I didn't keep a list of everything you just mentioned, but I think it would help most of the things that you just mentioned. Player retention at max level is pretty bad. God damn it, Justin, stop talking in the chat.
Are they taking away the title with the nerfs to Revan?
I don't know.
No.
None of that shit is in the patch notes as far as I'm aware.
No. I mean, there are nerfs. There have been confirms that nerfs are happening beyond just Revan, but I mean, look, the shit's just about to become trivial. Okay, like that's just how it's going to be. It's fine. It's whatever.
Anyway, you heard what I said, right?
Yeah, I did. I agree. I don't like I'm not
The actual
they-
reason
they're-
that 8v8, the actual reason that 8v8 went away is also population.
Do you think mega servers would have been enough of announcement yesterday?
Sure.
I mean, Megas. Okay, to be fair,
I mean, for the PvPers,
hold on.
yeah.
To
For
be
everybody.
fair, no, hold on. To be fair, Mega servers would actually be a huge announcement. Like, if Mega servers was an announcement, that's just a good thing. That's a big thing. I don't think they would have needed to say much else outside of Mega servers, and the majority of the community would have been happy for various reasons. Like, also, why the fuck are you giving out Fallen Empire wristbands with a date before the cantina even happens, and then you don't reference it at the fucking cantina?
Yeah.
That's just...
That bothers the living shit out of me.
It's so dumb. So dumb. That's like...
All it does is lead
That's
people
like if
like
a
me to
Marvel
speculate
movie-
on what it is.
That's like if a Marvel movie did its post-credit sequence at the start of the movie. And it's just like, what? No. Like, imagine if, like, in the next
they
movie...
did it for a movie that, not the movie you're about to watch, for one that they haven't announced yet.
Yeah, like, imagine if before, like, the post-credit sequence of Age of Ultron 2 is, like, setting up Civil War, and it shows Spider-Man for literally 10 seconds. So you're like, holy shit. Now imagine if they did that at the start of the fucking movie. You'd sit here and say, holy shit, guys, Spider-Man's going to be in this movie. And then when Spider-Man's not in the movie the entire time, everyone's pissed.
Zordy.
That's what this was. You got fucking wristbands with a fucking hashtag and a fucking date that is not that far into the future, saying to yourself, I could actually see them talking about this. This is only in June. And instead it's like, we're here to talk about what you've been playing for the last 2 weeks.
We're also here to talk... Doesn't it release on Tuesday?
Yeah, I guess.
I think it's the next Tuesday, right?
Okay, Tuesday, a week after Tuesday. So, why? Who cares? That's coming in not that much time, and you've already hyped it in a previous stream.
Okay, so say they gave the wristbands out before with the date and the hashtag, and then afterwards they did the picture with the secret picture in it or whatever with the same hashtag.
Mm-hmm.
Are they what marketing campaign is this? And to my knowledge, they haven't come out and said and told us what the hell it is.
Well, they're hinting as to what 3-3 is, I assume.
If you're putting a raid in 3-3, this
It's
is
not.
how you're
It's
trying
not.
to
I
bring
don't.
it out.
I guarantee you, it's not a raid.
It's not a raid. I 100% guarantee it. It needs to be tested, like, and it's not being tested. It's not happening in 3.3. Like,
So what is this Fallen Empire thing? Is just more
Could be
story
anything.
it's Forged
bullshit.
Alliances.
It could be
it's Forged
anything.
Alliances. It's no. I mean,
No, it
there are
literally
a few
could be
things-
anything except a raid.
Well, no. It won't literally be anything because it's not going to be another planet. They just came out with one. It's not going to be a raid. It's not going to be PvP related because this is a story thing. Not going to be GS. Like, it literally can only be Forged Alliance storyline stuff. That's all it's going to be. And I don't.
5 points.
There's nothing to get super because it comes out so quickly after Zyos. It's not like right after Zyos they're going to be like, all right, guys, we're unlocking Kashyyyk. Like, no, that's not what they're gonna fucking do.
Zordy
Like,
says... Actually, I'm going to talk about this after we're done talking about Fallen Empire. So, my Wall of Crazy thing is, for Fallen Empire, faction merger, which is a very technical and stupid way they could say, hey, look, the Q population's bigger now.
But it's not bigger. It's just mixed in. It's just jumbled like a salad. Like, it's
I mean,
the
it
same
being mixed,
number of ingredients.
You don't get pops if your own team is not big enough, so there you go.
It's the same number of high elo players, the same number of
yes,
low elo players.
I know.
It doesn't
But
improve ranked at all.
Well, it does, kind of.
I mean,
it
it
does-
does in
it
a
does-
splitting hairs kind of way.
It does, but not enough, right?
It does in a way that, like, the ranked population would not care about. Like, it doesn't fix
Sure.
their problems. So
Honestly,
Like,
this game should never have been two factions in the first place.
Well, see, here's the other thing.
The only game with the
Like,
population to sustain a two-faction thing is WoW.
I agree. See, but here's the problem. Like, if they do that, that is putting too much work in to another example of BioWare, like, doing something in name only. It's way too much effort.
I know. I said it was tinfoil hat, and they are. And
No, I know.
certainly are not
I'm
doing
just saying, like, it would, like, they could, with much less work, just fucking give us cross server or make a server. Either way.
And it also needs to make a difference. Oh, like how much would that actually add?
Not
having
much.
the 12 on pot 5 is having the 12 Republic people able to queue as well.
Well, it would stop them from queue stacking all the time. Because they do that. I mean, it wouldn't stop them, but it would definitely put a big dent into it.
It would make it harder than not hard at all, but
Yes.
like that doesn't affect, like, for an average ranked PvPer, that doesn't, like, raise the QOL that much. That doesn't really give you more pops, like, not in any meaningful way, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, I want to talk about something Zordy said. He says, Mega Server would be a valid reason to have a lack of content. The tech effort would justify it. Do you remember the shows we did last year when I speculated that whatever they were working on to fix the queuing issue would come after the expansion? And because of that, we would have a dry spell of content, but we would have to eat that sandwich then?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's happening?
No. I think
No?
that was their excuse for it happening.
Well, okay, how can they use it?
Like-
They don't have an excuse because they're not saying anything. So that's not it.
No. When I say it was an excuse, I mean, like, okay, when they talked about it in the Shadow of Revan, where they talked about the 2.0 content dearth, right? They were able to use the excuse of, oh, well, we had these 2 expansions, so we had to put other stuff on.
No, those are content. That's content.
No,
Even
I
though-
know, you don't
GSF
understand.
is content.
No, hold on. You don't
Okay.
understand. Like, what I'm saying is, they used that as a, hey, this is why you had to wait a year. This is the only reason you'd have to wait a year. We don't want to do that again. We realize this sucks for the players. Okay, so since you've established that, and now we're getting the same exact thing,
Well,
we don't have a new, oh my god, expansion like Shadow of Revan or whatever. We don't have GSH, because to them, Outfit Designer is not an expansion. It's literally just a patch. They can't justify it. Like, so basically,
how do
this
you
is
know
just
though?
them.
Because we haven't.
What do you mean,
okay,
how do I
we
know?
haven't gone into a year yet. We're not even halfway.
It's because of how their content cycles work.
No, I know, but I'm saying, how do you know that they're not working on whatever they're doing to fix the queue system instead of making content?
I mean, I know that they are working on, like, their how to fix the queue system insofar as they've mentioned it more than 0 times at all, but they mentioned the more than 0 times at all even before 3.0 came out. So,
Well, basically, I'm asking, do you think my speculation pre 3.0 was correct? And that is what's
Which
happening
what?
right now, and that's why we're getting nothing.
no, I think that they're putting in dev time, but they're putting in dev time into things that, like, that are not ops or PvE, like it's or anything meaningful from a gameplay standpoint. They're putting all their effort into story, which means that the excuses that they used for DF and DP, they don't get to use again, but, like, we still have to deal with the same content dearth. Like, so it doesn't matter. It effectively doesn't matter because we still get the same outcome. So it's pointless. Like, if you play PvP more than casually, if you PvE more than story modes, you effectively have no reason to play this game in the future. And I don't mean that rudely. I'm not saying you're wasting your time. I'm just saying that outside of you enjoying the game with your friends, you do not have any gameplay reason to play this video game anymore.
No, I mean,
Like,
they're certainly not
you
giving us
don't.
any.
Yeah, you don't have a reason to. You don't have a PvP reason that's competitive, because this game's not competitive in PvP.
I'm gonna real talk to you. If you're looking for a competitive game, stop looking
You're
at
playing
MMOs.
the wrong one.
Stop looking
Well,
at
no,
MMOs.
I know.
Period.
No,
Like,
I know.
Go play
From a
StarCraft,
PvP
go play
standpoint,
Counter-Strike,
yeah.
go play Dota, go play something that is actually made from the ground up to be competitive. Do not play anything that's... Don't play WoW, don't play Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
I mean, yes, you can make it sort of competitive in Star Wars. It's never going to be to your satisfaction, though. If that's something you really care about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Zordy is correct. If you only play for the story, you have no reason to even subscribe. You can buy the X packs as they come out and experience the story and free to play, which you mentioned earlier.
Which let's wheel this down. Like they said, story. You once you run through it once, there's a lot of dark option. How amazing! And then it's not competitive PvP. The PvE environment is rapidly dying, falling off. So, what do people do? Do they just sit on Fleet and open?
Yes.
Yes.
Packs?
In fact,
Yes.
yes, that's what they do.
They sit on Fleet.
And
They open their
they're
packs. They decorate their
apparently
strongholds.
Okay with that.
They shouldn't be okay with it.
I agree, but,
Yeah, but it
I
makes
mean,
Like I said,
But,
player retention at max level is trash.
Well, see, here's the problem. Like, they shouldn't be okay with it, and it shouldn't be acceptable. But at the same time, this is kind of where it's like it doesn't matter that it's not fine because the amount of money they make off of doing this bullshit is so much higher than it needs to be for them to justify doing it. Like,
But they could make
we can't
more
sit
money.
here. No, I know. Hypothetically, they can make more money, but like, it's gonna be hard to convince EA, BioWare that like 160 plus million in a calendar year for a free-to-play game where they don't put a lot of effort into it, and by effort I mean just straight up manpower. It's gonna be hard to convince them that that's just not like it's this
that's
game.
like a strange
This
thing
game
to speculate
no,
on.
no,
I have no idea. How
This
many people
game
they got
is a
working.
turnkey. No. Strange to speculate on. Name how many people you know that do combat balancing. I can name maybe 3. Name how many
Okay.
people you know that do PvE balancing. I can name maybe 4. Like, they don't have a big team. I'm not saying that they don't have a lot of employees. I'm saying a big team that focuses on gameplay, they do not have. So, this is effectively, from a gameplay standpoint, a turnkey operation. They don't have to put a lot of effort into this. And by effort, again, I'm talking about gameplay. Like, with man-hours into gameplay, they don't have to put a lot of effort in, period. Like, there's no
But
evidence to show
if they
otherwise.
put in more effort, they would make more money. Like, a lot more money.
Yes.
Players
But-
like
but
us
like-
would not be talking about quitting.
I mean, my sub runs out in 39 days, and I'm not renewing, so there's that. But
I mean, there you go. It's 39 days even. Does that even make it to the 15th of June? I don't think it does.
What is it? April
It makes
now?
it to the end
Oh,
of May.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it makes it to where maybe they get to announce something.
Let's be serious. Are they really going to announce something?
I mean, with their
Eventually
track
they
record of
will,
communication, no.
Yeah.
Eventually they will. 3 weeks before it comes out, before it's been tested.
So, I'm going to speculate on something. Or actually, I'm just going to ask your opinion. Should I try to get somebody on? Should I try to get somebody from BioWare on the show?
The chances of getting meaningful answers so
I'm not
low.
going to ask them, like, we're not going to ask them fluff. We're going to... I'm going to say at the start of it, if you cannot answer this question, say, I cannot answer that question. We don't need a non-answer. I understand NDAs. I understand you want to, keep things under your hat.
I mean, Musco went on Snave's thing, right? So
I mean,
Months ago.
months ago, and could have given better answers, and in some cases just didn't answer
I'm not
anything meaningful at all.
asking. We're not going to rip them apart or anything. We're not like that.
I mean, you go for it. You can try.
I mean, you can try. See, here's the problem, though. I would have a lot of questions. So would you. The problem is, it's harder and harder for me to justify wanting to bring a dev on to ask these questions when it's hard for me to justify continuing to play this game. Like, what are the optics of that going to be? Hey, Musco,
It's a Hail
or hey,
Mary.
Tate. Yeah, no,
It's a
I'm
Hail
saying
Mary
like, hey,
for
no,
the
not
community.
us. I don't mean us. I'm not saying us. Why would we want it? I'm saying like, hey, here are these people that take the game more seriously than the majority of the player base. This is not really the demographic that you care about. Come on this and answer or not answer difficult questions
Okay,
that
hang on.
force you to like examine your fucking game's health.
I'm not going to let you get away with this is not the demographic you care about. I know that they care about this section of the community. I think that they're terrible at communicating it. Or, let's go back. Do you think that they're coasting on the goodwill of 3.0?
I mean, if they're coasting on the goodwill of 3.0, then the fucking wave stopped months ago.
It's dried up.
I ask that because either they're terrible at communicating that they care, or they're hoping that we are happy with things as they are.
That we're not going to notice the length of time between content cycles. I mean, maybe, I guess.
I mean, Ghost Mirror, Jesse would be a good person to bring on. I don't know that I'd have Charles on because this is not really a show about the story. We can talk about that, but
I mean, here's the other
he
thing.
can go on another podcast for that.
The chances of getting Jesse on a show at all are really slim.
Probably.
I mean, you'd basically be able to get Musco. Basically, you'd have to get Musco because he's the community manager, and I'm sure he filters a lot of things. So he'd be basically the only option to get answers more than not at all, since he's the one who has the say on what can happen. Like, you just have to ask that, and then like specifically like ask him to talk to the PvP and the PvE teams like beforehand, because this isn't going to be about whether or not we would get the fucking Wookiee species. When do we get more voice modulator options? When do we get more hairstyles for the Secure Blood?
We're not going to ask questions like that. We're going to ask, so...
Well, what is your favorite color, Tate?
No. And we're not going to ask about string cheese. We're not going to ask about sandwiches. We're going to ask... when the hell's Nightmare coming out? When can we expect any new features engine-wise? Because, I mean, you can't... You're gonna wring the well dry, or you're gonna wring the engine dry eventually, as far as new things you can do. When are they gonna put in something like? They don't have to put in anything as ambitious as GSF, but like, how about offensive dispel? Something like that. How about like a real mind control mechanic, so that we can actually control things that are not our own characters.
Basically,
how about when we get ability replacements?
How soon can you expect us to start aping WoW mechanics? Basically,
hey, I said this last night, and I think I said this last show. Ape the shit out of WoW. Just fucking ape it. There are good ideas there. They already aped you. Rogues have fucking infiltrate. They totally stole that from Star Wars. Also, WoW needs to ape Star Wars in as much as give me a fucking exit area button in instances. Because I don't like having to walk all the way back to the exit, or on some instances where like the final boss is in a pit that you can't get out of, I don't like having a hearth. Fuck that. Exit area button. Do it.
You can right-click your portrait and exit the group, and it takes you out.
Not if I'm soloing.
True.
Also, I don't think it works if you're the leader. Shit like that. Copy ideas. It's not a bad thing. You've already basically copied the whole combat system. It's basically the same combat system between these two games. Anyway, those are the kinds of things I would ask for. WoW should copy Hutball, please, Blizzard. I agree. But they already have, like, 10-ish battlegrounds, I think. It's kind of a lot. Okay. Well, that's all I've got on my list. What do you want to hit besides that? Anything?
I don't know.
You know,
I think there's nothing.
Are you down in a hole? Are you depressed?
There's.
You gonna cut yourself?
I'm not. No, I just.
You gonna go turn the lights down and listen to The Cure?
I don't know. I mean, I've been playing this game for a little more than 3 years, and either this is the end, or I take a long sabbatical and come back when something matters again. But I don't see what they're gonna do. They don't.
Well, you shouldn't encourage that, because
I'm not encouraging.
No, not you. I'm sorry. BioWare shouldn't encourage behavior like that, because people will decide not to come back because they'll find other things to do. You want to retain your players. You don't want them to take breaks like Milas does, or you are speculating on doing.
Although I can't blame people like Milas or myself or anyone else taking breaks under these circumstances.
It also obliterates communities within the community.
Yeah.
Guilds die because of this.
Here's a question. Are there any chances that you guys take a couple weeks off, at some point? If there's just nothing to fucking do? Because I know Tenebris is all kinds of not happy based on his Twitter. Cax in chat, and I wonder what he thinks about it.
I think these nerds
7 million times a week.
Love to raid so much that they probably won't.
I mean, I love to raid, and I don't know. Everyone's got their limits.
Well, I think it was a perspective thing for most people in D&T, Star Wars branch. This is like their first MMO.
It's my first MMO too, though.
Yeah. I think I've infected you with my attitude about it, though.
No. I wouldn't say that I'm as grumpy as you are about raiding. I still enjoy it.
I was reading last night in WoW. There are things I like.
No. For you, with raiding, there's this weight settled in your shoulders, and when you walk around, you can see it. You got the 1,000-yard stare. You're too old for this shit.
Because I'm sitting there looking at Sparky, I'm like, God damn it, we're gonna have to do Master Blaster. No.
I mean, Galen says dev's responsibility is not the community, and I would say that that's the dumbest thing ever, considering this is a massively multiplayer online game. The dev's responsibility is exactly having retention with the community. That's the only thing that supports a MMO. What?
He is. That's what he said. It's not our responsibility to want to play it more.
Okay. No. I'm sorry. I thought he was saying that the dev's responsibility is not the community, as in, the community doesn't matter to the devs. That's what I thought he was saying. Sometimes Twitch chat is hard to read into things.
Yeah. Okay. So what's the too long didn't watch of this? They done fucked up.
TLDR, everything sucks. We're all going in a hole. Smoke them if you got them.
Dehydrated from all the salt.
Zordy, I think people read into that post a little strongly. Quote, these are the same devs that want us to report raid issues from combat team to design team. I mean, people took that.
I did look really hard about that, where it's like, hey, stop blaming us for this thing. Go blame these people. We're too lazy to walk 12 steps and tell them.
I mean,
and as if those same complaints were not already in the proper thread for the last 4.5 months.
Those complaints were already aired. He could have just not said anything about it. That probably would have been better.
Yo, after all these fucking posts...
No, Tiberius, do not play StarCraft instead. StarCraft is also dead. I only said play StarCraft if you care about competition.
Yo, these fucking... Look, I know this John Jaranowski's somewhat new addition, but every time he opens his fucking mouth on these forums, People get mad.
Well,
John Jaranowski. I'm not saying I don't
people
want
get
the man
mad no
to be
matter
employed.
what, though.
No. I'm not saying I don't want the man to be employed, but like, can we throw him in a broom closet and not let him out until the game is balanced? Like, does he need to piss off everybody that he references?
Do you think it would be any
in the
different
post?
if anybody else wrote it? Because I don't.
Yes,
think it would.
because they don't. You're not. He writes his fucking posts under the assumption that everything is the player's fault, or that it's all the beta tester's fault, or that.
I think you may be inferring where he does not imply.
Look. All I'm saying is, fuck John Jaranowski. He can take his fucking patch notes and go back to hospitality in the hotel services industry.
Now you're just being rude. I'm gonna have to cut it short now.
Oh boy.
All right. Well, we got no other topics to hit, so that's about it.
We're never gonna get our Musco interview now. Darn it.
I mean, assuming that's something we want to do, I don't think it would be that bad.
I could imagine them like demanding a list of questions beforehand that
I don't know what
you
they
were
do.
going to ask them.
Where are the questions about the Wookiee race? Why aren't you asking us questions about the Wookiee race?
I literally cannot believe they had, like, I get when they have it when people actually come up and ask them questions, like in other Cantina tours where they're not filtered through cards, but like the fact that somebody chose that from a card, that's bad.
They chose it from a card, and people have been asking about Wookiees being a playable race for like the last 10
1,000
Cantinas.
years. Like, before the dawn of man as we knew him.
This oldie but a goodie. This is going to be nice to answer.
Yeah,
for the
it's like
17th
asking
time.
about guild ships in 2011.
Guys, they're just being authentic. If they're going to do the same thing, make the same announcements from cantina to cantina, might as well answer the same questions
That's not
Oh,
too.
what they said they were going to do. But like the one in San Antonio, they
Yeah,
actually
but
did
it's what they
announce
did.
new shit. And they said they were going to keep doing that, and then they didn't do it.
Well, they didn't announce it so much as put it into a PNG file and, gave us a reach around with a wristband.
Well, no, I mean that's not an announcement.
I know.
It's
That's what I'm saying.
it's a little hint. It's a wink. It's a wink and a nod. Okay. Anyway, no announcements. Have no idea when I'm going to do another show because there's nothing to talk about in this game. We could have talked about, like there's resolve changes coming and there's a few class changes coming. You don't want to hit that. There's like
No, fuck what?
there's Marauder shit. There's Marauder shit. Talk about the Marauder shit. Do it.
The Marauder shit is basically, look, this is the Marauder shit. We already tested it literally more than 5 months ago. It was immediately said that it was not viable and it was pointless, and they just brought it back out again. Here, let's talk about the Sork shit. Sorks had no resource requirement at all as healers, and now they will have something of a resource requirement, but
Really?
who
'Cause
knows
people
what
are
it will be.
Other people are saying
who knows,
it's like going to destroy
who
them.
knows? Well, no. Who knows if it destroys them or if it just makes them pay attention to their bar more than not at all? Like, we don't know because they're not giving actual numbers, and people can't speculate with any math without actual numbers. No. The numbers to the cooldown of consumption is not what I'm talking about. They said they're also going to change the cost of the heals. Without those numbers, we cannot speculate as to how much of a hit it is.
That's true.
Basically, just take your character now and try and not use consumption for the entire.
Well, I'm sure that's impossible because that's your resource generating mechanic.
Yep.
I mean,
then make
possible.
all your
You
skills
just
more
don't.
expensive.
You just don't do any. You literally don't do any fucking DPS. You run a lot of crit, and then you use Enervate on cooldown.
And cut your APM by like 10, 15.
So
You don't have to do that. The APM of Sword Healer's not that high. It's like 32 or
how
33 or
does
some shit.
reducing the duration of your dots as Annihilation help you at all?
I mean, here's
It makes you press
if they
them
were
more.
going to reduce it. Here, let's have a quick real talk and then go the fuck home. If the dot was being reduced to 6 seconds, like that would be better because it's more in line with what people actually liked about Annihilation. Changing it from what it is now to 9 seconds, changing 18-second Force Rend to 15-second Force Rend is dumb because the cooldowns overlap. So you have to make a choice of which dot you want to fall off. You're going to have to delay things. Like the rotation goes from 36 seconds to something that's like closer to a minute and a half long. and in the most theory-crafted rotation that there is, which was done using a fucking math model, there's still 4 out of every 10 cycles you're delaying rupture by at least 1 global, and there's like 6 times in the whole parse where you're delaying rend. Like, what? Or instead of that, you delay your annihilate, pick your fucking poison, and then people are like, oh, this is gonna be this. Like, there are 2 out of every 100 people that are like, this could be good, and the people that say that are saying like, make the cooldown of annihilate 4.5 seconds, and it's like, are you fucking stupid? Like, we don't have enough resources to do that. You'll literally be basic attacking every other global just so you can get your annihilate, then your dot, and then your other dot. Like, it's...
Hey man, they want you to basic
stupid.
attack. Like,
also,
just look at what they did to Pyro.
Here's the other reason it's stupid, and this is why I'm just convinced that the combat team, just at least with Marauders, doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. You made a stack system with fucking Force Rend, like every annihilate get a stack, every 3 stacks, like free blah blah blah. Okay, with the proposed changes, for every 2 Force Rends you have 5 annihilates. So every second Force Rend is more expensive than the first, and in order to do things on cooldown. So in order to do things the way that the stack system is meant to be done, you're supposed to delay every second Force Rend. Or, alternatively, the fact that it has 3 stacks, you're being told quite unintuitively by the combat team that you're expected to not cap at your Force Rend stacks. Please explain to me what kind of rotation you're supposed to ignore the fact that there's 3 stacks every second cycle. Like, that's dumb.
How about Resolve? Can I get you salty about Resolve in Immobilizers?
You can't get me salty about Resolve because it's just stupid. like, how are you going to get me to care about it? Like, the Resolve changes didn't make anyone happy. It pissed off PvPers. Like, it didn't. It really? Doesn't matter for PvEers. Like, there's nothing
like
about it.
A big who cares. Like, I guess Melee are happy about it, but do Melee really need that? They already have a bunch of fucking breaks and shit like that.
I mean, Melee are speculatively happy under the realization that they haven't been able to try it out in a Warzone.
I mean, I guess.
And again, you could say, well, but you haven't been able to try out the annihilation changes. I'm like, yeah, I have. I did it in 2014 along with every other Marauder that quit the fucking class.
I don't know.
The Merc change
like
is weird too because they're gonna make a heal stronger that doesn't need to be made stronger on already the strongest healing class in the game, and they still haven't fixed the 4P set bonus. So if they make healing scan stronger, and they fix the fucking set bonus, it's like, come on. Like, why exactly are you feeling that you need to make a change that's just going to make Mercs even better, at the same time giving Sorks any change that's going to inevitably be negative at all? I'm not saying that, like, I'm against any nerfs at all, but it just seems like, again, they don't know what their priorities are.
They just need to go ahead and allow Culto Shells to stack and just get it over with. Everybody play a Merc.
There's nothing wrong with Sorks right now. Sorks are good.
I know, I'm talking about after. Assuming
I don't
the
think
nerf,
it's a nerf
is bad.
I think they're going to reduce the... like, there's no way that goes live by itself.
Well, they said they're increasing the cost of all the heals.
How do you heal for more than 2 minutes, then? I don't believe that.
Good question.
I mean, they said it. Again, these are things they say. Doesn't matter if you like it, think it's possible,
but
it's viable.
I cannot believe that, because that you may as well just delete the class. And I say that knowing other people say that, in rage, but you may as well just delete the class, because it doesn't do damage, and if you make it so it can't heal for more than 2 minutes, it won't do any healing.
Well, look, here's the important thing to remember. Like, they're trying very hard.
Hey, it'll be good.
I can't believe that. It's impossible.
I mean, that's what they said. Like, it doesn't matter what you believe, it's what they said. Like, what?
I don't know. He must be mistaken. He must be mistaken.
This is such a fucking Debbie Downer, like, fucking show. We're just all like, everything sucks and we're all gonna die.
We are gonna die.
I mean, that's basically the state we're left in right now.
Okay. Now we truly have hit everything. Oh yeah, they're gonna make operatives channel their shit while moving. The diagnostic scan.
Something that operatives don't actually have to use that often at all. So it's one of those things where it's like, yay, on the rare occasion that an operative healer uses diagnostic scan, he gets to do it while moving.
Yeah. I'm sure that's
doesn't affect the part that they have the least amount of bursts of the healers.
Okay. So since we've hit everything, I reckon that's it. Like I said before, don't know when they're going to do another show because they're not giving us any information on anything that we can talk about. There will definitely not be a show directly after 3.2 because that is not within our purview of things to talk about. That's a leveling planet wherein you don't level, and this being a hardcore branded show, why should we care? So, I don't know. I guess you'll find out more about what we're doing in future.
Spoiler alert,
on the
we'll
Twitter.
be playing WoW. Spoiler alert, we'll be playing WoW.
Well, we're already doing that, but maybe we'll be playing it more. Okay, if that's everything, I guess we'll see y'all next time, whenever that's going to be. Follow me on Twitter, I guess, because that's where I'll be talking about it. Thanks again. See ya.